Welcome to my DTN302 presentation. My name is Mohammed El-Hajje, and I'm here to present how contemporary food habits and consumption have been influenced by a context with specific reference to my case study, Rachel. My selected case study is Rachel. Rachel's origin is from Australia, with her heritage being from the Wajinja people. Wajinja is part of the Kulin Nation and located in south-central Victoria. It consists of 5 Indigenous Australian tribes. Reviewing the historical developments in Australia, it is clear that they have played an important role in shaping the current food practices. Australia upon colonisation was denoted as terra nullius, land belonging to no one. Until the 1940s, the white Australia dominated. It wasn't until the 1940s the immigration policy began to ignite and within time saw the new laws which increased migration. As a consequence of migrants entering into Australia, they introduced and brought about food cultures into our regions. These cultures eventuated into the establishment of takeaway shops, restaurants, and even supermarkets, all providing a convenient measure to obtain food, which I'll explore later in my presentation. Moreover, religion has also played a role in shaping food cultures. Australia is composed of a diverse range of religions, with each religion bringing its own celebration and food type. Some common examples of these celebrations include Eid, Christmas, and Easter. Current day culinary practice of Rachel, we see that somewhat abides to the traditional Australian culture. Staple foods consumed are the 3 main meals of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We see supplementary foods as a form of snacks, with common additions such as herbs, spices, and sauce. It's important to note that variations occur as a result of region. With regards to rural areas, we see limited shopping locations, an expensive and limited food range, which see unhealthy packaged foods being more accessible. This is contrasted to metropolitan areas which have a larger range of foods and many shopping locations, which make it more affordable. Religions have also played a role in the culinary practices of Rachel, with specific occasions such as Easter and Christmas. We see that the British and American diet cuisines align with the current culinary practices of Rachel, and there are no unusual aspects of her practice. The development of Australia and the colonies have foreseen recent advances in technology, food production, processing, storage and transport, and the way we've procured food. We've gone from a hunter-gatherer and making all foods to home, to a mass production and purchasing our foods from convenient and supermarket stores. This has in turn led to a wider range of fresh foods as well as processed foods throughout the year. In Australia, the main agricultural farming outputs are pig meat, tomatoes, bovine meat, sugar, poultry, potatoes, vegetables, wheat, beer, and milk, excluding butter. Australia's main exports include bovine meat, sugar, rape and mustard seed, milk excluding butter, barley, and wheat. The main imports of Australia are sweeteners, pelagic fish, tomatoes, pig meat, potatoes, apple, wheat, beer, vegetables, and milk. An increase in efficient use in irrigation water, machinery, genetically modified plants, fertilizers, and environmentally safe pesticides come changes in the apparent consumption of key commodities. Various changes have been brought about, but however, the overall major changes are a decrease in beef, mutton, and goat products, which were replaced with an 860% increase in chicken and an 133% increase in pork. Overall, there was also a large increase in the consumption of vegetables, rice, wine, and fruits, whilst a decrease in butter, eggs, beef, mutton, and sugar. Discussed earlier, the historical changes in Australia has foreseen changes in the food habits we practice today. Aboriginals in Australia make up 2.5% of the population, and 27% of the population is from overseas. As a consequence of migration, travel, and the media, we have seen gradual changes in our food culture. Historically, various countries from the 1800s to the contemporary times have brought about an introduction of new food cultures. The British, the Indian, the Japanese, the Thai, the Turkish, the Vietnamese, the American, the southern Greek islands, and Italy have all brought about certain food types. It was only recently that Aboriginal food cultures started making its mark on Australian cuisines. Bush food, or bush tucker, is the traditional native food eaten from the local land, such as plant, insects such as ants, moths, grubs, beetles, eels, fish, bird, including waterfowl, scrubfowls, the kazari, the jibberoo, and animals such as kangaroo and goanna. The introduction and integration of Indigenous bush food started with Australia's first cookbook on Indigenous bush foods, the English and Australian Cookery Book, written in 1864 by Edward Abbott, and the integration was assisted by Mark Olive, a well-known Indigenous chef who introduced viewers to bush food for television series The Outback Cafe. Today, kangaroo meat is widely available in supermarkets. Another example of Indigenous bush tucker, which is still eaten in Australia today, is a bread called damper. Originally, the bread was made by grinding seeds and nuts into a dough and baking in the coals of a fire. The modern version is made from flour and water and cooked on coals. Damper was adopted by stockmen who were dependent on rations, and later, historian James Bonwick had said that damper was further introduced to Australian cuisine by a first fleeter named William Bond, who cooked damper as his first bread in his bakery on Pitt Street in Sydney. In summary, The transition of the food cultures in Australia has foreseen great changes in the Indigenous community. The Indigenous community have gone from the hunter-gatherer to a contemporary diet. As illustrated in this table, we can see that there's a greater range of changes on their diet and activity, with highlights, for example, the consumption of animals and, for example, the level of activity. In conclusion, the changes in the constructs of society have brought about changes in food habits and consumption.